Welcome in to a special yet late delivery. Hey, sometimes your mail don't get there at the time you think it should. However, I was told if I was delivering a check and it came 20 minutes late, would you complain that much? I don't think you would. Nonetheless, let's get right into it. How we doing, Postal Gang? This is a special review or recap, I should say, of week one. Hope everybody's having a good evening. Here to assist me and show us a different view or give us a perspective of a different view, i.e. the all 22. We got my man G-Class with me today. How we feeling in this afternoon/evening, G-Class?
Good evening, sir. Doing real well. Happy to talk about all things Bears, even in a loss. In
a surprising loss, albeit. I mean, and I can just give y'all some a quick backstory. The first half of the game, or even the first quarter, to be fair, emotions are high. Things are looking what we classify as good, and we, meaning myself in class, are having a conversation via text that is almost being giddy, as if we seeing something that's never been seen before. And lo and behold, stop me if you've heard it before, those wonderful feelings were fleeting and soon become a roller coaster of emotions. Nonetheless, like he said, win or loss, we do got things to break down and get into the sauce. So, class, I guess we will look at this from a good, a bad, and not an ugly, but more so a concerning. Certain things are good, certain things are bad, and we're going to be able to move past those. Other things are concerning issues that I would think are things that really deserve attention, and they're not one-offs in terms of technique or cleanup. And so, without further ado, we get into the first segment of delivery right here, the good. And let me know at any given time, since you've seen film that lends itself a better evidence to it, If any of these things don't make sense to you based on my synopsis, feel free to interject and break in and let me know what you saw.
You do that.
Early impact for Caleb. And I should say for the offense. Strong start. Opened the game relatively hot. I believe 10 of 10 on his initial completion, 10 of 11 in the first drive to get a touchdown on a rushing 9-yard play. Now, I will say that while the offense moved very fluid for me in that, I don't know exactly how it looked behind the scenes. So while we got, like I said, the giddy emotion because something worked, I want the how from yourself. Did it look to you the way in which we portray it for the good?
It depends on how you portrayed it. Was it good?
Being Johnson-esque. Just to give it a bow tie to it.
That's what I would say. Did the patient survive the surgery? Yes.
Okay.
The patient survived the surgery. Was it
Was
it clean?
Okay.
It was. Hey, it was a little rough. It was a little rough. But the patient survived, and I will say it was promising. Like I said, I looked at the All 22. I watched it a couple times, and I listened to some people that we regard highly. Tim Jenkins, Kurt Warner's now doing it. I also listened to former Bears quarterback out of Missouri, Chase Daniels. And when I watched the film, what I saw was somebody who noticed, and it felt like he waited as long as he could at this moment. If he needed to run out, get out of the pocket, go make something happen, he was able to do that. And that led to the Bears getting a score on their first drive, ultimately. So first drive, opening drive, positive. Again, I don't think we did that at all last year. I don't think we scored on our first drive.
No.
Not a touchdown.
No.
All last year. So that's progress. To me, that's progress.
It is. And even if you notice in that drive, while there were a lot of, I guess, what you would classify as an off-script type of play when he has to bail out at times, there were moments in that drive where he was able to cleanly step up in the pocket and have the bow that was created for him be unraveled in a pleasant way. Meaning he sensed pressure on either side, evaded pressure, and as opposed to rolling out and trying to do something mystical is the word I'm looking for, he took exactly what was supposed to happen, step up, and whether it was drop off or across the middle to the tight end, did some things that showed some pocket awareness or pocket presence to show that although you were not an under center type of guy, in an interim, the concept is something that you're able to grasp and you're starting to grasp, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, he honestly, I watched it. You can see it in the game, but if you watch the All 22, you get a larger picture of what's happening on the field. And he showed his desire to stay in the pocket for as long as possible and give his receivers as much time as he can to get open. Now, we're going to talk about a little bit later if the receivers backed him up with effort, but we're not going to bring that up right now. But first drive, the energy was good on both sides. I would say Minnesota overall was pretty, I would say pretty vanilla with the defense. They didn't do anything like outrageous. Most of the night they rushed like 4, maybe 5.
Yeah.
If they really wanted to, kind of come after them, but overall they didn't do anything, too crazy. And the Bears took advantage. So shout out to the Bears.
And I'm happy about it in that regard because, like you say, 13 of 16 for his first 16 passes, 112 yards and a rushing touchdown in the first quarter. Obviously, he didn't have 112 yards in the entire game week 1 last year. So not to say that it was a high bar to pass, but surpassing that bar happened in the first quarter as opposed to a whole game. You did have a respectable 210 yards passing and a passing touchdown, albeit something I would consider not to pee in the wind over here. A little bit of a garbage time touchdown. Nonetheless, the play call in that was immaculate, in my opinion. We'll get to it if we need to, because the way in which I think, and I've seen the play before. Obviously, I've seen them do it in Detroit, but the way in which it was executed was just the exact same way I've seen Jared Goff executed, i.e., the concepts that he is teaching you and the principles of how plays should tie together, execution-wise. I saw one of them executed exactly the way it was done with people who have been in the system at the highest of levels, and whether anybody would try to question or quantify the difficulty, I think all throws are difficult on the NFL level, and the way in which he drew the defense to a particular area in order to get the receiver free means you use your eyes and your feet being tied together for that play to work, and the way he drew it up is the way you executed it. And so while that may not have been something that was consistent, and that is something that I think all quarterbacks work to be more consistent in the things they do, to see you do those types of things as opposed to the backyards, the off script, and the wonderful throws, that was a wonderful play. And the play execution oftentimes can be more impressive to me than the actual throw, based on, hey, sometimes the layup is not supposed to be, fancy. It's supposed to be effective. And the way in which he put that one up was good for me. Lastly, to speak of one more thing that I think was kind of pronounced or a good thing, I think the impact that DJ had on the game was felt, albeit in a moderate way, not heavily, but it did give what I classify as some definition to what his role will be throughout the course of the season, i.e., a Debo-esque package. And I do believe that he'll be more significantly more involved than people may have thought he would be in the beginning of the year. We'll talk about some of the bad moving on. What do you think about that particular thing being a good, or do you see it as something that is not so clearly defined right now?
As far as DJ,
yeah,
I wasn't happy with his usage. I guess we'll dive right into it, man. Okay. There's a problem here. And now I'm not sure how long DJ is going to be here. And I say that based off of a deficiency that Caleb cannot change. Caleb is 6'1", or at least that's how they list him. And when I watch the film, Caleb has a hard time seeing DJ. He could see Rome all day long.
Big boy.
He could see Cole all day long.
Big boys.
He could see Colston. He can't see DJ.
He see the little guy. He see the little guys at the line.
Yes.
When he rolls out,
see DJ. That's a problem. And I'm gonna say this too. DJ is not a tight route runner. There are, and this is just my opinion based off of the film that I watched, man. There are significant problems with each aspect of the team right now. Significant. While yet small, they all add up to something very big. The Bears look sloppy. The Bears, when the wide receivers are running their routes, they're not tight. Not all the time, not consistently. If they're running an out, going just keep it simple for the viewer. You're running straight 10, 15 yards and you're supposed to turn and go out. It's sloppy. They're dragging them. They're making them, instead of them being right angles, we're going on a curve. Okay. People aren't finding openings in the zone. Now, does that mean that the Vikings didn't play great defense? You go back and look at this tape, the Vikings played fantastic defense. Anytime you watch that second half specifically, anytime the Bears ran a motion, so let's say they motioned DJ from the left side to the right.
Mm-hmm.
The Vikings, as soon as he crossed Caleb, the entire team shifted.
Shifts.
The entire team. And then when they ran their plays, they were right in the spots where they needed to be. They ran zone most, like I would say like 95% of the second half. A matter of fact, it could have been 100 if you honestly. But they did not. Their zone worked. And that's because of what the Bears were doing. The Bears didn't challenge the zone. And that's a problem. Now, Caleb's footwork, that was a problem. Okay, let's be real.
And we will get to all of the bad.
Okay.
My only question, my only opening to DJ in that one was, do we think that that definition of his role was previewed? The deficiencies in him we can speak to in our bad, because I got those for all people, because just like T Miles has indicated, if we watch the all 22, which if you weren't here, T Miles, the man on the screen with me is the purveyor and breakdowner, i.e. of the 22s for us. So we have had opportunities to both see and listen to other person's perspective on the same things. And if you would just understand that if you watch anybody's all 22, there are always people open on all of them. Oh, yeah. So I don't want to harp too much on receivers open all game, unless you were. And I will talk about the misses and inaccuracies later on, but open. We draw route concepts. We draw particular plays to build off of one another. And if I'm going through progressions and you are not the first, I'm not concerned with you being open just because you streak down the field, because I'm not supposed to skip from 1 to 3 just because I had a better look per se. But we'll get into the weeds of that one. I do understand people were open. I was just more so speaking to the fact that him being both used as a receiver and runner in some capacity to get the ball in his hands gave us a bit more of an understanding of the role in which I think he'll take on. Because like you said, those other guys, the bigger bodies, will be the guys that I think you see more downfield and him spreading out to a bit more. But I do think that in the interim, the way in which you saw DJ is the same exact way I think you'll see him and Luther be dispersed, i.e. Bubble screens, slants, some curls, and a heavy dose of getting some runs for him as well.
I think him and Zacchaeus Olamide, I think they'll be fighting for the middle of the field. I think that's their strength. I don't know if Ben is going to adjust to that, though. I would hope so. Based off of what I saw, I would hope so, because the simpler you make it for DJ and the quicker you can get him the ball north and south, this east-west stuff, man. Let's cut this nonsense out, okay? Let's go north and south. Try to get him in the middle of the field, working the field. I think you got to move DJ to the slot, bro. I truly do. And this is not based off of one game. This is based off of his time here. I know he can play outside. I know he's a beast. But for this thing to work, you got to get it to him quicker. Bears got a problem with that. So I just leave it there with DJ.
Yeah, because I can't. The way in which Ben will deploy him for a year, I can't base off of one game. I understand.
I agree. That's what I'm saying.
I understand that, like you say, Caleb is too small, in my opinion, to see those types of guys. So, in the instance that and I'll just give a positive spin before we move to the next good. Let's say I think DJ is a 1, and I'm speaking as Ben, and I want to give you the opportunity and deference to play the position you've always played. If it doesn't work, then I can come back to you and make the adjustment to say, we probably already had this discussion. If he ain't able to see you there, I know you frustrated by the miss, for 33-yard touchdown. I can get you that across the middle, and I'm gonna ride you to death if you want it. And I think he'll be receptive. Next, we'll just get into it because I know we on a crunch and we want to get to the meat of everything. The defensive game plan I think was great early on. I like the way that Dennis was able to use the short-handed staff to contain JJ. They pressured him effectively, I think, from all angles. Shout out to Dayo Dangbo. Shout out to it's Tano Passanio. That's his name, I believe. I've been trying to get his name together because Tano is a handful to get together. Nashawn Wright, I want to give out personal praise to all of the defenders that did some stepping up that weren't necessarily expected to do those types of things. Everybody else we'll get to, but the way in which they played, Noah Sewell as well. Don't want to forget him, and we'll kind of push on. Those guys are people who I think give you hope for depth. They give you the opportunity to see, in my estimation, that when the staff is full, that Dennis is able to, deploy them perfectly or as most effectively. Being short has nothing to do with outside receivers. That's when you can't see over the line. Can't see over the line means he can't see his ass on that side over there. And Drew Brees, I'm gonna give you a prime example. Drew Brees was 5'9" at best. He played with Marcus Colston, 6'4". What's my man's in San Diego before he left? Because it was McCardle's last year, I want to say, when he went to San Diego, 6'4". They play with big body Benz on the outside so he can see them all, so you don't have to see him. He can throw it to a spot, and the catch radius is there. Tell me the short quarterback that plays with the short receiver. So I understand what both of you are saying. We're not saying that it's a problem with DJ. We're saying that it's a problem in terms of the height for Caleb to be able to effectively deliver the ball to that guy. Based on the sample size of things we've seen,
yes,
we've seen several times where it should be a drop. And Russell Wilson has never thrown any deep ball to Tyler Lockett. Oh, I'm sorry. Tyler was in a slot. You see what I'm saying? Across the middle of the field. He had DK Metcalf, big ass, on the outside. And even back in the day, if I can go back I'm gonna go back and pull up all his receivers. He didn't have 5'9" dudes playing the X, the post.
Yep.
That he's not saying DJ can't do anything. He's saying that what you have to
do
do
everything. I'm talking about for the team.
And what you have to understand. Let's give into what you're saying real quick, T Miles, before I move on. Let's say that I give in to all your points. Russ and Drew are guys who can do that. Know your personnel. Caleb can't. So if Caleb is not proving he can do that, I can't drive this car like that one because it ain't that. That's not a denigration. That's saying that I'm gonna use in the home. I'm gonna use my shotgun a different way than I would things out in the streets because it's a different type of mobility, X, Y, and Z. Use you the best way I can so that I can go ahead and use you to the maximum of efficiency.
Yeah.
And I can make two people happy at that.
I think the Bears have to realize, and I think they know this. Let me be clear. I think Bears fans need to realize that we drafted an athlete who plays quarterback. We didn't draft a quarterback with athletic ability. So you're gonna have to fundamentally change some things. I was talking to my boy earlier, and I think a better comparison. I think a better comparison for him, instead of looking at people like Mahomes and whomever. Don't even look at Jalen Hurts. Look at Josh Allen. I think the better comparison for Caleb is a shorter Josh Allen, somebody that you can run with. You can count on him to escape, but you're going to have to work with his throwing motion. You're going to have to work with his feet. You're going to have to get him throwing lanes. The sooner the better. And I think we will see progress over this year alone, where you will see exactly what I'm talking about, because I think Ben Johnson sees it too. And I think they've been working on it, but Caleb got happy feet, especially in that first quarter. He was running. Second quarter, he was doing a little bit more running. He got some happy feet. You know what I'm saying? He was amped up. And he got to a point where he's running, but now he's not looking downfield. We're talking about misses. He missed DJ when he got the first down. He ran for about, 12, 13 yards. Mm-hmm. But DJ was open. DJ was open on the curl. And if he'd have hit him, guaranteeing a touchdown or a big game. So all I'm saying is the Bears got some work to do. That's not on DJ. I'm not asking DJ to grow 3 inches or 6 or whatever inches. But what I'm saying is you got to realize the quarterback that you have in this spot. and you got to play. You literally have to coach to his strengths. And I think, I don't know if we're gonna dive into it, but I don't think Ben Johnson called a good game.
We will, and Ben admitted it as such. But where we will, even though we're already in the bad anyway, we might as well just roll them to the bad and skip what we think was good. Just get on to the bad.
I can get to the good.
I mean, we didn't dip down. We didn't dip both feet into the pool on bad. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like.
I think. Listen, there was good in this game. There was a lot of good in this game, especially on the defensive end. Dayo Odeyingbo, for as much flack as he caught, he was ready to play. The defense overall was ready to play, especially early on. But if we're talking about offensively, there was good. Caleb has a cannon. Okay, he can throw it. But if you see, he's doing more arm throwing than leg throwing.
But
he has that cannon,
and we understand that
he will get you the first down, and he's a competitor.
But the segments are broken up so that we can curtail all of our criticisms for the bad section. Right. We have spoken more about the bad than the good, including my wonderful audience over here. Because yes, the fleeting emotion that we had. We got into this conversation about DJ not being tall enough when we simply was only highlighting, I think, that the system could lend itself to being better utilized, not to denigrate anybody in that point. Yet still we got to the bad of what we've been doing, and we don't get to highlight somebody like Odeyingbo who has been catching almost as much flack from the local fan base as Caleb has from the national media and everybody else in terms of what can't happen. What I will say, to keep on a positive note as far as the offense goes, is where we will disagree probably today is I believe Justin Fields is an athlete learning to play quarterback. I do not believe that Caleb is an athlete learning to play quarterback. I believe he has athleticism because you are no Lamar or none of them other boys. I don't believe you can get to the way in which they have the athletic feet. You got escapability, and I shout out to you. That's some Aaron Rodgers type stuff to me, more so than the rest of them. I think that you are a young quarterback, like you said, like Josh, who has raw development of the position, but you wouldn't dare call Josh more of an athlete than a quarterback, in my estimation, just because the brain part of the game is where you become a quarterback. And I don't believe that most of the acumen at the college level has been tested enough. And, like it used to be like Bill Parcells used to say, like, you need to play at least 50 games in college before you truly get the concept of being a professional. And I used to rail against it because I'm young. I don't know much about what this old man is saying. I just want to be young and oppositional. When you look at the way some of the guys like Caleb who play, 20 plus games in college versus a guy like a Burrow or Jaden Daniels or a Josh who had to go to a lesser school but was a raw talent, they had to play more games, see more of the game cerebrally, and not rely on their talent. I believe Caleb has relied more on talent than the actual processing to be a quarterback. But
okay.
So
if that's the case, if Caleb has relied more on talent up until this point, then what is his talent?
I think his arm talent is his talent. I don't think it's escapability. We're running and being athletic, being evasive in the pocket and throwing across your body. That's right, but throwing across your body and all those types of things like that, the different arm angles and drops, those are not athletic things. Those are only certain quarterbacks can do that. Because I wouldn't say Patrick Mahomes is athletic at all, but he can do those things, throw across his body and make the unworldly throws that a thrower couldn't make. I think he's a quarterback. I think Justin is more a thrower because he got arm strength.
Caleb.
No, I'm saying the difference between. I'm saying the difference between arm talent and arm strength. I think Justin has arm strength. i.e., athlete learning quarterback, because we spoke about something that I'm proud of Justin for. Let me give him praise. Totally out of the way. He looked this year in this game. His eyes, like you just talked about with Caleb, years prior, he did exactly what Caleb did, just run. This year, he kept his eyes up, and he had receivers, and he was finding their ass. And I know that the guy we got can do those things and further progress his mind, because I think that's your eyes are tied to your feet. I believe the eyes are your brain and the way you process it. And I think that the processing of it is something that all their flashcards and clapping has stunted some of their growth. Some of them to the point where being a prima donna and being overindulged, Caleb, it is what it is. Your NIL monies and everything have given you a different gravitas. And sometimes KD said it best: hard work beat talent when talent don't work hard. There have been times last year your talent was questioned in terms of the work ethic because things were going bad. I need to see those things, but I don't think that you are less of a quarterback more so than an athlete. I just think that the mental preparation for your job, you need to be a bit more serious about so that your consistency can stay there, as opposed to you are learning it in the way in which I think Justin is being taught things that I thought he already knew. Certain things last year, you still saw flashes of your quarterback, not just the wow, but the way in which the wow happens. Some of those, like I said, some of those throws, I don't care how cerebral you are at the position, you're not going to be able to throw it like that. And I don't think just an athlete does it. But you can go give me your point about that real fast because I get off task.
No. I don't have a point.
Okay.
You were giving a counterpoint.
Okay, just making sure we ain't have, because I understand your point on it. I was just giving the thought why
we could just agree to.
That's what I said. We started that way.
Yeah. Because I think it's gonna show.
Yeah.
Throughout like this year, I think we'll know. Not necessarily like who's right between me and you, but I think we're gonna know the type of quarterback.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, I mean, whether we want to say it that way, we will, because that'll be proven. I think this year, because the coach is able, like I think both of us think, to display to us whether or not he is what we think he is or isn't. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I think we got the right staff to prove or disprove. Yes. That's what I'll say.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
So the bad for me, obviously, I think the offensive stall is more than the fourth quarter defense collapse. And I say it like this. We had, 12 penalties, and that's for 127 yards. Let me make sure I got that right. Yeah, 12 for 127. Most of which were pre-snap penalties. A lot of those penalties didn't happen on defense. Some of those things, yes. Most of those were pre-snaps or phantom calls for a few that never matriculated, and they were huge calls. Nonetheless, some of those others, we put ourselves in positions to start slow when we had the ball rolling. And our quarterback, the one we talking about these accuracy issues and happy feet, you missed a wide open 4th and 3 for DJ Moore. Across this middle we talking about, I believe, is where that play was set up at. And I need you to be better. A lot of drives stalled out, albeit play calling or not. Some of that happy feet that we talked about was the reason that a lot of the mishaps for the offense stalled out, and thus I think a direct proponent to the defense tiring out. Not to mention, they was already playing with spare tires. So to not have total harmony on some of those things, and the pre-snap penalties, I think, were some of the larger points. But in you looking at the actual tape, what were the things bad for the offense that were most alarming to you that you saw on film? And that includes any play calls that you may think that Ben didn't set up properly for a given scenario. Project Leroy, how you feeling today? Everybody hit the like button.
Bears, this kind of goes with it. The Bears used 12 personnel on close to 40% of their snaps.
Okay.
I would tell you that most of that was in the first half. Second half, I don't know what they were doing. I'm still trying to figure it out because they didn't use enough 12 personnel. You got to have both of those guys out there. That was a bad for me. Why receivers not getting open? That was a bad for me. And I say receivers not getting open enough because we're pinpointing certain things with Caleb. Like, well, he missed some throws. Yeah, but let's say this. So you got 4, 5, 6 plays in a row where people aren't open, or we're getting negative yardage. That's a problem. And so now when somebody's open, yeah, it's gonna be glaring because you're gonna be like, well, that guy was open, you missed him. Okay, well, what happened the 4 plays before? Like, I don't think that. Okay, so that's the second bad. A third bad. I don't think Ben Johnson schemed up enough open guys.
Okay.
They were running a lot of deeper routes for some reason. And I'm not 100% sure. Maybe Ben felt like that was something that they could take advantage of, but they were running a lot of deeper routes. And again, they were curving them
was
off.
not there. It should have been something to take advantage of, and maybe try to set things up several times, but you didn't. Like you said, maybe set them up properly in terms of getting proper seam usage and things like that.
Yeah.
So
they're running a zone. You gotta compromise. You gotta pick a side of the field and compromise. You know, whether
who you want to attack and where,
guys over there or whatever they want to do. You got to do something, man. You got to put them in a spot. And I don't think Ben did that enough.
Look at Project Leroy say, why ain't in Chicago running leveling to commit up the seams?
hey, we now that's my bad for the coach. That's my bad for Ben. Not necessarily the play calls, but the usage of certain personnel. 17
but that goes with it though.
17 with 20 runs, 17 of which went to DeAndre Swift. None went to the backup Kyle Monangai. Now, I would have initially my first thought was maybe he's not 100%. Then I thought, silly you, if he wasn't 100% and he wouldn't have been on the field. He wouldn't have been on the field. That's right. So you got a 12-yard play up the middle, and you was there. Now, what I will say to speak to Ben's defense, because the main problem, Caleb doesn't play on time. He does start panicking and happy feet. We talk about that. He says the receiver's open, and this is, I'm going to give you one little fact to see if it confirms or if it gives you pause about what maybe we see sometimes. Missed wide receivers are evidence of Caleb's inaccuracy in terms of the bad. What they say about this in the stat, and this is NFL. It's TalkSport. TalkSport is the source for this. Wide receivers creating the most separation yards at 4.9 yards per week 1. What team would that belong to? What team do you think got wide receivers got the most separation?
Created the most separation?
Yes. In week 1.
And I don't know.
The Chicago Bears.
The
Chicago Bears.
I'm not
compared to what?
Compared to week 1 and everybody else.
I'm just telling you that
this is what I'm saying. You turn on the tape and you show and okay.
Ben,
okay.
No,
I can't argue the numbers.
Ben may see what you seeing, and he may see wasted space in that separation. He may see times where Caleb didn't get the ball, but he also may see what you said, like, DJ, you was sloppy, didn't block right, no block, no rock. He may see a whole bunch of things that we ain't privy to understand in that seriously. So I'm not disagreeing with your thoughts or your sights. I'm just simply pointing out a fact that's ironic that they speak of inaccuracies, yet they give evidence to them getting separation. So it could be that certain articles are spin based to give a negative connotation to your quarterback to start, and it can look at it.
Including,
go ahead.
Is that only wide receivers?
Yeah, that was only wide receivers, not no other pass catchers, only wide receivers.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, like, tight ends, because obviously I think Tyler Warren and a lot of other people would have factored it in that. My boy Jones was a wheel route out there, getting separation of the linebacker, and that was a bad. He does got to stop dropping his eyes, and I think those things will come to him throughout the year. But I think that
the offensive stall was largely due to things like that. Caleb dropping his eyes in certain situations, getting happy feet. In a situation where you didn't, I don't know if you've seen it, but one John Yurkovich on ESPN.com reports that he thinks, based on his all-22 sites, the middle of the line did not give the push that the running game needed at times to substantiate some of the things that Caleb was feeling pressure from.
That's absolutely true. But are we talking about the running game now?
Well, no, only to highlight that
when we do.
He's saying because the fourth quarter collapse that we talk about right now, as far as the defense, it was due more so to the fact that the run finally broke open after it was putrid for 3 quarters. They kept with it, and we didn't. And the criticism was on Ben for not giving enough runs. Conversely, when Yurko was giving out the negatives to everybody who was getting blamed in the run game, including the coach for not having enough, the running back for not getting enough on the yards per carry, and this and the third, he only highlighted that the line gave very little help to push, and that may have 100%. In some way caused the coach to abandon a bit early or prematurely the run game. First time coach. Could be because everybody want to say like he got out coached by O'Connell. Well, duh, if he does not get out coached by O'Connell, I'm worried about what we talk about with Kevin O'Connell. Because you are, last time I checked, the coach of the year before, and you've been coaching at least 3 years. So how dare me or anyone else try to think that Ben should come off the skateboard with Ollie's the first time he get on that thing, and this other guy over here is been doing trick shots, exports, and everything else out here for multiple years. Much like JJ. JJ got settled in the fourth quarter with simple concepts that Kurt Warner doesn't give disrespect to, but he doesn't overcomplicate when he says those were very simple things, but the rhythm was there based on concepts they worked on for, over a year and a half. They've been able to do those things right there constantly. And so it makes it easier for him to get those things at the end more so than the other guy because, in a sense, he's seen those things play out through another quarterback. Caleb has not seen those things.
Right. And what's wrong with being simple? Why can't we make it simple for Caleb? What I don't understand.
You can, but a coach that's rode the bike before understands sometimes that I need to be simple.
I get you.
My first time Brainiac, he's admitted to overthinking things, and he's candid enough to say where he made mistakes. Those guys can't block the run properly. They did double team the wrong guys at times, but some of those things I think is him maybe over prepping things, nerves. Mr. Tony not playing with anybody for any of the preseason. All 5 of those guys, what anybody needs on anybody's line is continuity. That was the first week all 5 played together. I make no excuses, but we make realities and conscious observations. I will not tolerate that past the bye week, but your coach himself gave himself a reprieve and an out long ago when he said, I think we'll be working on said things until the bye week. Once I come out of it, he expects none of this stuff. Now, I know it's infuriating for him to see it at any given time, but I see the bad as things that are correctable. So Caleb's eye level, we seen at some point in the game be correct. The line didn't pick up stunts, but to be fair, they didn't stunt until the fourth quarter when Flores actually started to mix things up and try to put the clamps on us so that we didn't put them away. And at that point, they weren't ready to pick it up. That comes from continuity, not being able to understand the tendency of the guy next to you. Yeah. So it's hard to pick up a stunt because I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know if you flinch. I don't know if you buckle. I don't know if you're going to stand up and take 2. Some people, like, I can't just be like, hey, bro, it sounds easy in my head, but like, I'm going to take 2 of them if we do this. That sounds good until you don't realize this dude in the foxhole next to you don't approach it that way. I need to know my personnel. I'm going to give you a quick one, and it's not going to be long, and I'm not going to be too indulged into it as far as the level. I'm in a fraternity. I have 5 line brothers. That line needs to be like this. That means we are symbiotic in the way in which you operate. And the only way we can do that is through repetition of doing things over and over again until I understand what one is going to do. Two understands what I'm going to do as the Trey. I understand what the four is going to do, and we all know what Teo going to do. When I see what he going to do, he going to do everything that we done already. He gets to feed off us and freestyle. That's a quarterback or a running back off the line. Us, the nucleus, we all got to be one beat, one sound, one band, one sound, however you want to go at it. And we got to go ahead and make those things go. Those types of things could be the nuance behind you not picking up a stunt and us having a 17-6 lead evaporate as our defense wilts because they, like I said, we playing with spare tires. Some of those things are starting to be conceptually.
We didn't bail them out.
We didn't.
We didn't.
You should have put them away a long time ago.
A drive of at least 8-9 plays. You know what I'm saying? Even if we don't score,
not scoring, just successful drive, sustained.
Yeah. We didn't help them out.
We already on a donut, and you driving miles on in. So I don't understand. The offensive stall really did us in with that, and special teams was the last thing that I think it teeters on concern and bad. So what I'm going to do in the interest of time, we are going to move Cairo Santos and special teams to the concern box. I'm past the bad with Cairo. I watched a kicker in the same stadium at the same direction on the field kick a 59-yard field goal to end a drive in the first half.
Yeah.
I'm watch my kicker take the same field, the same wind, same field conditions. So anybody who wants to blame field conditions, they can kiss all of my natural black, and we'll finish the rest on later on. Cairo, 50 yards, you cannot do. And then I know you can't do 59 yards because it is approximately 59 yards for you to get the kick from where you started on 35 out of bounds. And if you can't get the ball out of bounds, now yes, it is being a mistake for not telling you to just kick it out of bounds because your trash ass can't get the ball booted. You can't kick it down there, bro. If you can't get it, I'm gonna give y'all a quick little movie. Look who's talking back in the day. My man's Bill is a no problem guy. Anything you ask Bill, he says no problem. If anybody does not know why Bill says no problem, it's because Bill couldn't speak English. So you asking Cairo, can you kick it out of the back of the end zone? See.
No problem.
Can you kick it out of the end zone? See, senor. Can you kick it out of see? And what did Cairo do? Kick it as far as me.
Here you go. Middle of the end zone.
You want to catch it?
My man catch it.
And they got a coach who did this thing before, who has the wherewithal. F the special teams coach. Coach himself is waving my man down the field because I won't let nobody usurp what's going on right now because I know what the situation is. I know the tenor of the game. I know how all this is going to work for us. And that man, because he has rode that bike, stopped his team from imploding. I want to, man, if they Colombian mount for coffee, maybe he can. But he sure couldn't kick it out of the back of that end zone, and I needed it that day. I needed that more than I need Juan Valdez, baby. And I need coffee every day, Project. What I'm saying is he let me down. No more.
Whose fault is that? Is that coach? I mean, is that Santos, or is that Ben not knowing or not even realizing, like, hey, I know for a fact he can't do this. So just kick it out of bounds, bro. That's all you got to do. Kick it out of bounds. I don't want to give up the yardage, yes, but in the interest of time, just kick it out of bounds. So who fault is that?
That's the rookie. It's the rookie. It's the rookie coach. It's the rookie coach. Know your personnel. I make no bones about that. And he even admitted I should have told him to kick it out of bounds and just be done with it. Give up 5 extra yards. But as a rookie, first-time coach on the bright lights, Monday Night Football, no less. Let's think about that for a coach too, Black Couch. And I ain't make no excuses for being because he got to be better. But this is your first time. We talking about JJ. Hey, my man was out there nervous as hell. Everybody out here been calling JJ a Service Academy quarterback. You ain't good, won't be good. Everybody has said the exact opposite of being. You gonna be the greatest, dude. I don't even look. I pride myself on being a guy who has a high aptitude.
True.
But realize that all the eyes are Curious George with the goggles on you right then. When everybody say you gonna be good, i.e. Caleb, number 1 overall, you supposed to hit the ground running. You don't get the same leeway that a lesser known coach or somebody who did it already
you don't get the same leeway because like they expect Ben right now to go bust up in Detroit and burn the house down. Let them know what's going on. Not us. The narrative, because he is the mind behind their offense, and their offense looked so putrid last week. Ben has been expected to exalt a franchise. Like, realize, we talk about our quarterback being bereft for 120 years. The same thing can be said about a coach on an offensive capacity that can actually harness a quarterback. He has infinite pressure. I will not excuse that, but we have to realize it. Just like those penalty yards kill drives, some of the pressure of being first time on the bright lights may have gotten to him. And let's just hope that it's a learning experience on all accords, because the failed challenges cannot happen again. I don't know who told you to throw that flag, but put that one in your back pocket and don't pull it back out until at least the bye week. Let's watch other coaches use their challenges first before you get back into it, and learn from somebody's example right there, because you will be under scrutiny heavily for those types of things.
I felt like it was in question.
I
think the issue though is that you're not gonna get that. They're not gonna give you that. That's like, it was way too close, and it was crazy. It's like they're not gonna give you that.
Yeah.
I feel where Ben was coming from, because I'm looking at it like, yeah, he didn't touch the guy, he punched the ball, but in
the instance, I'm not even worried about the challenge. It's the gravity of knowing when you did it. Because
I get it.
I.e., now we can't stop the clock later on because we don't have that timeout, and that was a critical one for us. And I think this is a rookie coaching mistake. That's all.
I agree with you, and that was a part of the entire night. Like that kind of spoke to the entire night. His timing was off. His timing was way off.
Okay, and so
the stuff he was doing, he wasn't making the right calls at the right time. He just wasn't comfortable enough understanding the team more, enough to call the right plays at the right time. So
that's true.
Yeah, I'm not concerned with him, but it was bad.
And you see, and that's all, like, okay, like Project Leroy said, why don't Ben use Rome like he did Jameson Williams? First of all, I think Rome is exponentially better than Jameson Williams. So I won't have you be relegated to the deep ball, the deep guy, because you ain't that.
Jameson Williams is a bullet.
Yeah,
that's what you.
And I expect him to do those things. Like, I got to use you for what you are, and that's fine. I think Rome is the number one receiver. I think Jameson is a number two, and I'm not being dismissive in his skill set. I just think his skill set is more conducive to being, for lack of a better term, more of a one-trick pony, as opposed to having a full route tree, is what I'm trying to say. And I think Rome knows the full route tree, so I can't use you in that way. But he will be the person that stretches the field that way, Project Leroy. In terms of the deep bombs, Rome will be that guy. Caleb, and we talked about that earlier in terms of DJ maybe switching positions in terms of being a straight slot guy, letting those other guys get on the outside. And then I think you can see a lot more of that. But I think it comes along with being able to expound upon what he knows from he's watching tape for himself. He evaluating himself in his tape. What can I do better? And not just coach speak. He literally on his 90 days like, okay, you was horrible right here. So he understands some of those things about himself. He's openly admitted misjudgments about things. He highlighted the lack of execution from the coaching staff. He didn't mention the lack of execution for the players. Now, he talked about plays that were left on the field, and we obviously know that is execution. But in terms of the old cliche point that Matt Eberflus gives us all the time about the execution of everything, we know that Captain Obvious, he understood in that gravity that I didn't do. Like he said, he was just a tick off with his timing on play calls and when he called them and when he should have. And he has a timing offense. That timing starts with him. And so if the timing was off after the first quarter and you didn't, because like Kevin O'Connell, you're not, I think, savvy enough at this moment to be able to reel your quarterback in when you saw him kind of revert to bad habits and talk him off a ledge. You let him spiral out because he didn't stop for the rest of the game. Once he started, he didn't stop. So
Exactly.
You were
And
go ahead.
and our run game didn't support us either. If you
Yes.
talking about McCarthy and Minnesota, hey man, Jones helped him out, and
Jordan
what's
Mason.
my name?
Jordan Mason. Yeah.
Jordan Mason.
Battering ram.
Came through for him.
Just go
Yeah.
do it.
Came
Just
through
hit
for him.
somebody and make them
Meanwhile-
tired.
Meanwhile, we only running one guy, DeAndre Swift,
Who ain't big, who's not big at all. So DeAndre's not even a battering ram, and he can't make you. He can't tire you out. They could have given him 35 carries. He wasn't tiring no line out.
He wasn't. Nah,
He about 209 at best, and he got stick legs.
It was way too many 1 yard, no yard runs the entire night,
And so-
that's not gonna cut it.
Ben didn't help himself out on the whole right there. I think the misuse of the tight ends and the running backs was catastrophic. I also think that something that's concerning to me is we had, quote unquote, according to players, one of the hardest training camps that they've had in quite some time. I saw mental fatigue and collapse in that fourth quarter. And
You saw mental fatigue?
I saw mental fatigue with a couple at towards the end. Once you get into the last drive with the bootlegs and everything, the boot for JJ on the back end, everybody blew an assignment on that one in my estimation, and I think that's mental fatigue. You got tired. The offense may have contributed to it. You may have been burned out, but I saw enough checkouts on the offense to see that y'all just were royally messing up.
I agree with you because we did have we had some bad calls against us on defense.
We did.
Hands to the face by Dio, unbelievable.
The PI.
The pass interference
That he
on-
slipped.
on Tyreek. Like what
A
are we
straight
doing
slip.
here?
None of
I'm
them
like,
things
you
happen.
killing us, man. Those are drive extenders
And that contributes to your mental fatigue. Like, man,
Yeah,
we
I
already
agree with
down.
you.
The
I agree.
offense ain't doing nothing for us, and here we go again. Those types of things can creep in very easy when ain't nobody reeling you in. And I think for the most part, I saw all the defensive coaches keep them as refreshed as they could. But at the end,
they tried.
at the end, all of those things kind of set in. I think that will be something that's not a issue for the defense. But I do think when 18 talks about mental focus and execution, not the play calling, I'm going to disagree with you, bruh. The play calling and your mental focus needs to be better. Yours. I'm not talking about nobody else's mental focus. Your happy feet, your eyes are the people. That's what everybody sees. When you wear your T-shirt that nobody else wears, when you wear your Punky Brewster wristbands, they going to call you out for everything, bro. When you wear your gold and purple earrings on TV.
You want eyes on you, bruh. You want
So if you want eyes, I'm going to need you to use
is
yours.
what comes with
Keep
it.
them up. Keep them down the field. Be a point guard. I don't know if you play basketball, but you can't pass down the court on a fast break if you ain't looking for the man down the court. They running.
Yeah.
Feed your big man. I don't.
I
Hey, you
could
know what?
add-
Go ahead.
I just want to add a little point. Kurt Warner and his breakdown, he's very
Good.
complimentary.
Yes, he was.
He's very complimentary of Caleb. But one thing that he noted, he said Caleb is doing too much.
That's
He's
his
moving
problem.
too much, and he's doing too much. Where he's turning, he was like he's turning his entire head and his body to a place that he's not gonna throw. He's like, you don't need to do all that. You just give a
A
simple,
nod, a
little
little boot.
and that's it.
draw somebody.
That'll be enough.
But those are
Yeah,
things.
that'll be
And so he's not had to ever draw a defender at X, Y, and Z. And so that's what I say on the last play to Rome. You had to freeze a linebacker or a safety in that instance. And so I saw you do something exactly the way it needed to be done. And it showed me, even albeit too late, and we can call it a garbage touchdown, the play was not garbage.
No,
The play
not at all.
was
They
a
used that-
foundation.
they
It
used
was
that
a
all year.
build up, but it was a realization like, hey, exactly what I asked you to do. First quarter, we got a little lucky and caught him off guard pre-script. This right here is what I asked you to do in game, and it actually happened. So that when you have your painted nails, your uniform differences, and your rolled up socks, nobody can say shit about that, or nobody will, because personally, I can give a good. I don't care about it at all. I would care less. So what? Couldn't care less. Not even gonna worry about it. But when people don't like you,
and you move in a different way, when you don't yield the results that people are going to talk about, they're going to try to hold it against you. So when I saw the last play, and then we went back and I saw Jarrett run it the exact same way, just like Project said, that TD was something to build on for next week. I might throw that play out against y'all, but I may set the same look up. I may flip it and go the opposite way. But I saw in the game his ability to scheme plays to look identical and be different. So I saw at times you be able to try to build off of something and come back to things later. I expect execution of those things and usage will be exponentially better next week, because I do think that he gets 1 week to evaluate himself, see where things went wrong, see how the front was relatively strong on the outsides. Let me give praise to two people before we start getting off this screen right here. Somebody gave up 0 pressures, and he was scrutinized because I heard his name a lot in the game, and I was a bit concerned that he was not going to get his job done. One, Darnell Wright gave up 0 pressures in that game, and he was called for a phantom hole that killed a drive, when that is the pancaking pin that is taught to every lineman to keep somebody there. No lineman and no defensive lineman that I've heard on TV or any place else has agreed that was a hole.
If you look at the all 22, the ref is directly behind him,
and you got to see that.
He sees the guy drop, and he's reaching for the flag. I'm like, just because the guy dropped, that means that he's holding it?
Yes.
That makes no sense.
Like, you in your head, you already had it going that way, and that's how you chose to have that play out. On the other side, while I saw Joe Thuney be a good help to do exactly what I thought was going to happen, I didn't hear negatives about my guy Braxton getting people pushed back into his lap and everything all game. I didn't hear Braxton's name, and when you don't hear O-lineman's name, it's a good thing. So we're not going to sit here and act like, as much as Dangbo got criticized, Braxton, while you still weren't ranked high on PFF, you did do us a favor and show that you are a serviceable guy that can build and do your job. Salute to you for doing your job. I won't talk about that at all. Thank you. Jonah was your worst. Jonah was the worst graded offensive lineman we had. PFF gave him the worst grade, and he earned it. And in fact, I don't know if you've seen him in the all 22, but it was alluded to that on the phantom call for Darnell, the actual culprit is Jonah.
But I looked at it. It wasn't.
Okay, so just making sure, because I think Project got access to the all 22 that he gonna look at.
Yeah, go back and take a look. But when I looked at it, he didn't hold him either.
Okay.
I did hear, he had, maybe the ref was looking at. I think Tom Waddle said that.
Okay, Waddle did say that.
That maybe he thought Jonah did the hold instead of Darnell. That ain't what happened.
Okay, and you saw, and that's what I'm saying. When you get to juxtapose what you see to what they see,
you can see,
like my eyes just as good as theirs, and probably better sometimes. And like Project says, the line did a better job. You got more time to operate. There are things to fix on all levels, but on the whole, if I can say, even in the dejection of losing the game, I saw operations on both sides that gave me the optimism that we can have those things be consistent throughout the course of the year, because they wondered where a pass rush would come from all offseason. One game sample size, but for 40 minutes at least,
I like it.
We had a pass rush, and it was without the service of somebody who they think will grow into a larger role, i.e. Austin Booker, who is not back yet, and a Shamar Turner, who has not played. So middle and outside. Shout out to Dexter for having your name called a couple times. 98. I saw you one time. You looked nice when I saw you. Good to see you. Hope to see you again. We won't talk about you too much. Yeah.
Okay.
I won't whine about it. I heard everybody's name. I will hope to hear everybody's name more, not just the people who get paid.
I think we cannot forget that Minnesota won 14 games last year. Their defense is more than solid. They lost their playoff game, yes, but they have earned where they are. And for us to think that we just gonna have them come in Soldier Field, first game of the year, all because of McCarthy, that we're gonna blow them out, that was crazy. And I blame Mike Wilbon for getting the masses riled up about that. But we got what we deserve.
Yeah, because we should have blew them out.
But we also showed that we're going to be a problem because we're not even ready yet. And our offense scored 17. We ended the game with 24. We got a pick 6. But we showed we're going to be
I love that. He's the quarterback who got the pick 6 gets the phrase. Nashawn Wright. That's a Al Harris signing. Worked with him in Dallas. Saw some talent in him. Used to be a former Viking. Like I can use that guy. That's having your coaches be able to influence your roster selection and construction to fit what they need to do their job best. Those types of things give me full confidence at the moment that the job, like you said, can be done effectively the way we've seen it in spurts consistently moving forward. Because when you take the one-offs, when you take a Dennis Allen who has taken, like I said, Passing Dayo Dangbo, and all of the guys who we critique the most and give them a name for the day. Daniel Hardy got in on some defensive action as a depth piece, a special team. We got a sack. Those types of things right there. When Jalen out, you realize Kyler Gordon out. The people who stepped up in they steed were coached up and looked better than they did last year, and that's because of the coaching staff around them to put them in better positions. Noah Sewell was a wash project for 2 years with the Bears, and all of a sudden, thank you. But nonetheless, health. You all of a sudden got healthy with a new staff. Is that some of the last year he did play special teams a bit last year. Were you not healthy because of the? Maybe sometimes what I'm saying is a coaching staff, and I see the incompetence in it. I may want to damn, I got drafted by them. It may be career suicide, but I might want to get cut by you to pick up somewhere else because you don't know what you're doing. So I just stay hurt because at least that's been the MO already. So nobody's gonna blame me. They'll actually give me a reclamation project to re-sign because it wasn't that I couldn't play. It's because I couldn't stay healthy. So now you got a coaching staff that understands, one, hey, you better than special teams. I'm going to use you over here. Two, I know how to use you. I can drive this car. And now all the pieces come together. Closing mindset, closing words. I think our closing mindset in terms of how to close out games needs to be strengthened on all the chords. That could have been a very catastrophic way to start the season based on past trends. What I do think that we have to do is kind of eliminate that fragility. If you got any closing words, because G class, while we in class, somebody got to be a puppet. I know I'm buying people time over here. So if you got any final words, any critiques for Ben or anybody else, go ahead and let me know what we think is critiques or words of encouragement moving forward to week 2.
This is what I will say. There's a lot of little nuances that go into being a really, really good quarterback. So you're going to hear a lot of different things. One of the things I'm also hearing is a lot of negativity about the Bears. People are impatient, but this is a rebuild. Like Ben Johnson said, we're tearing this down to the studs. And if you've ever seen a house torn down to the studs and built up,
walk past one every day.
Process.
Walk past one every day, and I want it so bad. I know what they're doing too. Carry on. I'm gonna get decided.
Yes. That is a process, and this is what we're seeing. You can say, oh well, Caleb looks just like he did last year. I don't agree. Now you may not be able to see it without the all 22. If that's a problem, buy the all 22 package and take a look if you care about it that much. But if you don't, let's give them one game at a time. I'm excited about this game this week. It's at noon. It's in Detroit. I think the Bears will put on a good showing. I'm hearing that Jalen Johnson may play.
That's right.
That's what I'm hearing.
I believe that was the case. Yes,
we're
right.
We're already
one step closer
even
to be
better than we were last week. I expect the Bears to play better. I hope that they make the proper adjustments as far as with the run game. I hope that they utilize
Kyle will get some
DJ.
burn. Kyle's gonna get some burn this week. A thumper with vision.
So.
With vision.
Let's utilize DJ in the middle of the field. Let's utilize our tight ends. We have all the pieces. That's what Ben was saying. Everything is there. We just got to learn how to use it. Okay. So Ben just got this car. He cleaned it up. He made some adjustments. Got some new tires on there. Now let's get a man time to do his job.
Exactly.
And he's committed to it. Let's as Bears fans, let's be committed to the process and let's see it through. Because Ben ain't going nowhere. I'm telling you that now. Ben ain't going nowhere. You just mark it down.
And give understanding. I make no excuse for anybody. Understand that everybody has their own individual development patterns and time. When we talk about guys like Josh Allen, he didn't see his talent until the third year. When we talk about somebody, even the last 3 MVPs, their quarterback acumen was not fully developed and realized until at least year 3.
That is very true.
Caleb's inaccuracy, but even with that, T. Miles, you are absolutely right. His inaccuracy is a problem, but his inaccuracy is what I classify as he is late with his eyes, and when you're late with your eyes, it correlates to his feet. Once those feet start moving in different directions, he is not allowing to square those shoulders up, and that causes the inaccuracy. So everything starts here, and when it starts here, it starts between the ears. The way in which he processes those things, he has to get repetition. When I speak about those 54 games in college, Caleb didn't play 54 games in college. He hasn't played 54 games, period in terms of football with college and the pros in 18 games. So to understand that it will take time for Ben to implement his system to a T, which is why Ben even told you at least give me the week 5 before we lay heavily into critiquing how the things will come together for everybody. He is his first time riding a bike. He is teaching this guy how to ride a bike while he's learning himself. It is a tumultuous and undertaking task right there, and he has happy feet. That has to be corrected over time, and that comes with comfort. And so the comfort will come from his line creating a perfect bow, and that bow will come from them having a bit more continuity in terms of knowing each other's tendencies. So everything works hand in hand, foot in foot, if we want to be funny about it. And we one band, one sound. What we will do moving forward in these instances, guys, is have the All-22 available so that we can, as a group, try to learn how to better watch film. We're going to do what Caleb couldn't do last year. Because oftentimes we have a blanket fixated thought about something, just like a quarterback would lock in on a receiver. I think we lock in on what we want to be the case, and we don't give any credence to the truth. The tape don't
what
lie.
It is? The tape does not lie. And you know what it is, too? The way they show games on TV, y'all, I don't know who's listening, who's watching, but the way they show games on TV, they want you right into action. Okay.
Yes.
And the problem is you can't see everything. You cannot see everything. You watch the All-22,
press box.
You get you get that good sideline view, and you get a view from the you get 3 views, but you get a good view from the
bird, the side,
and the
coach can, end zone. I said the coach can. Goddamn it, I call it.
You can see everything, and once you do that, then you start to understand exactly what he's doing, and you can see exactly what Caleb is doing. It's exactly what Postman is talking about,
and we can start to understand everybody's assignment. Everybody's assignment on a particular situation. You see times where I've seen situations where Tony picks up, hits a man, and then instantly rotates off to go help double team another one. You have to understand that in that instance, there was not a gap created. The gap was set there so that this man can slip and go to the other side or back door. However the play is set up, it was designed like that. It's not always broken. And sometimes, because like you said, I want you to see lights, camera, action. It's a production. I want you to see the cinematic brilliance in an instant car wreck. I don't want you to zoom out and see everything that was going on, so you know exactly how we got to it. Because talk about it yourself. When you're a kid playing football, you don't realize that the receivers that are not catching the ball should block and help out to make the play work for the other guy.
Or run their routes with conviction.
With conviction. Like you actually going to get the ball.
Yes.
So that he can really get his
thank you.
Now,
open.
And next time, it might actually go to me.
Yes.
But we got to build off of things, and you can't build without laying the concrete foundation for those stairs. I don't want people to skip past that and think we ain't building wooden stairs right now. We're building the concrete. We're building a wire into it. This right here is we're building like the stadium. We're putting posts in the ground right now. I will not be so hyper focused on the minutia right now. I will pay attention to it, acknowledge it, and understand that those things are concerns, but they will not be long-term concerns unless they prove themselves to be. The narrative can be changed if you change the narrative.
Yes, and understand that Ben Johnson wants to win more than we want the Bears to win.
And shout out to Taylor Engstrand for learning from Ben Johnson, for being the OC out there who got a 4th year or 5th year quarterback now, and Justin, that's finally starting to keep those eyes up and be what I thought he could be. Develop
he looked good.
Tendencies that show you that you can be a above average quarterback, and his legs can make him be in a different category if he can master the basics by simple fundamentals, keeping your feet happy, like Project said, keeping an upright base, not flat. Like you short, you got a short stature, Caleb. You got to keep those. You got to have proud shoulders all the time. You got to be ready to see over the line.
Your footwork has to be on point
because especially when you're short,
it's got to be on point, man.
Because you can't freestyle like Justin Herbert. Your arm strength. Thank you.
You don't want to arm throw it. You gotta body throw it. Yeah.
Or we're gonna be damaging. With that being said, guys, we will get at you next week. I will not be here for the game. Home is where I shall roam. I am going to Chicago tomorrow. Shout out to the crib, baby. I ain't been there so long, but I feel like it's a homecoming. The game will be seen at the crib. I will not worry about anybody's reaction but the family's. Monday and beyond, we're going to get a couple streams in next week so we can break down some film and have some reaction. Everybody enjoy day weekends. Please, Caleb, work on your footwork. Ben, work on your game plan. Fans, work on being better fans. I was going to say that.
Yes.
I go through a lot of ESPN and a lot of streams. I see more vitriol spewed in our fan pages. And I'm not saying be oblivious to things that are happening. I'm not saying you can't critique and give harsh criticism when due. I'm saying when I come in with doom and gloom and I want you to fail, I do have a Discord. Give me one moment. Let me put that in here for you, man. That's weird you say that because I think I talked about that Discord last week. Hopefully the link is set up the right way over there. Your boy been trying to be a bit more diligent in expanding the way in which we communicate. We do get alerts in the Discord for when live streams and everything happens, so it does give me a leg up if people are plugged in to know when we going live and when we trying to be better fans about this. With that being said, your boy came straight from the crib. Straight from the route. Did a scream and shout. Got a little bit to eat. Now we got to go powwow with the wife. Enjoy the second half of football. I don't even know. I know the Packers was doing exactly what I don't want them to do, which is win. But until I see you again, same bad time, same bad channel. Who knows? We'll figure it out. Until next delivery, I appreciate you, G-Class, for breaking it down with me, bro. I appreciate all of y'all. Click the link. Click the like. Share the content. We're going to get with y'all on the next week. I will enjoy Chicago for us all. We're going to get on out this thing. If I can find.
We got to show them next week. I'm gonna have some clips picked out. We'll show them next week. What's really happening? But yeah, good. Yeah. I think I think the Bears gonna be fine. I was really encouraged. It was hard to stomach the loss, but once I took some time and I actually watched the film, I was like, oh, I see what's going on. Okay, all right. So I appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me, bro. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, later, brother.